My chair wasn't even set at the table. Everyone turned to my younger brother. Applause, smiles polished for company. I stood there with a plate in my hand, heat crawling up my spine, heart steady in a way that surprised me. I set the plate down, took a breath. Thanks for finally saying it out loud. I walked toward the door. That's when my dad said it. "Wait," he said, then quieter, sharper. "Tell them what you did." The room froze, forks mid-air, wine glasses trembling. Good. This was the moment I'd been rehearsing in silence for 2 years. I used to believe in this family. That's the embarrassing part. I was the dependable one. Oldest child, straight A's, stable job, the one who paid bills when things got tight, the one who moved back home when Dad's health dipped and Mom said she was overwhelmed. I trusted them with my name, my credit, my signature. I thought loyalty was mutual. That belief lasted until the house stopped feeling like mine and started feeling like a set, everyone playing a role, me written out of the script. The first red flag was small. That's how they always are. A bank notification I didn't recognize, a credit inquiry I didn't authorize, mail opened before I saw it, conversations that stopped when I entered the room, my brother suddenly driving a car he couldn't afford, my parents suddenly relaxed about money they never had. They called me paranoid, said I was stressed, said I should focus on my career instead of imagining problems. So I did. I focused, and I watched. The betrayal didn't explode, it crystallized. A quiet afternoon, empty house. I logged into an old shared computer, muscle memory guiding my hands. The password still worked. They always underestimate consistency. There it was, loans, accounts, business filings, in my name. My credit wasn't damaged, it was harvested. They'd built my brother's future on my spine, used my clean history to secure capital, signed me into partnerships I never agreed to, transferred liability with surgical precision. I remember the exact second my chest went cold. Not heartbreak, clarity. This wasn't emotional, it was structural, and structures can be dismantled. I didn't confront them. That's what they expected. Instead, I got quiet. I documented everything. Screenshots, timestamps, IP addresses, copies of forged signatures. I spoke to a lawyer under the guise of hypotheticals. I met with a forensic accountant who didn't ask why. I paid cash. I learned which crimes carried weight and which carried leverage. I let them think they were winning. That was the hardest part. Smiling at dinners, helping Mom with groceries, listening to my brother talk about his business like he built it from sweat instead of theft. Silence felt like swallowing glass, but silence was insulation. By the time Thanksgiving came around, everything was in place. The regulators had files, the bank had questions queued, the investors, real ones, had been alerted anonymously to irregularities. Nothing had fallen yet. I wanted witnesses. That's why I didn't argue when my chair was missing. That's why I thanked my mother. That's why I walked toward the door. Dad's voice stopped me because it confirmed what I already knew. They were scared. "What did you do?" my aunt asked. I turned around slowly, looked at each face, familiar, complicit, curious. "I corrected the narrative," I said. Dad stood up, anger leaking through his composure. "You don't know what you're talking about." I smiled, small, calm. "I know about the shell company registered using my social security number." A murmur. "I know about the loans secured against my credit." Silence now. "And I know the audits start Monday." My brother laughed, too loud. "You're bluffing." I pulled my phone out and placed it on the table. One email, subject line visible, sender unmistakable. The laugh died. Mom's glass slipped from her hand and shattered. Dad sat down. I kept going. "I filed a report," I said, "not out of revenge, out of self-respect." I leaned in. "And before you ask, no, I can't stop it." That was the lie. I could have. I chose not to. The aftermath was efficient. Accounts frozen, Business dissolved. My brother's reputation evaporated faster than his confidence. My parents stopped calling when lawyers told them to. They tried guilt. I blocked it. They tried anger. I archived it. I didn't destroy them. I let the truth do its job. Tonight, I sit alone. Not lonely. Alone. The house is quiet. My phone is silent. My credit is clean again. My name is mine. I think about that toast, how my mother smiled when she erased me with a sentence. Funny thing about erasure, it works both ways. They wanted a child they could be proud of. They got one, just not the way they planned.